So about a week ago now, I got back from my largest road trip to date. In total, the trip was just over 4,200 miles and spanning a total of 8 different states. It started in California, we worked our way up to Oregon and Washington, back down through Idaho, Colorado, Wyoming, and Moab, Utah. In total, I was able to spend almost 20 nights of camping in the woods, both with my dad and my girlfriend, and it was a truly incredible experience and one that I'm still kind of processing and thinking about to this day. I was able to shoot 35 rolls of film in total. I brought along my Mamiya 7II and Contax T3. For those of you who have watched this channel for any length of time, you probably noticed that I haven't shot film here pretty recently, and I'm taking a bit of a break and focusing more on the digital side of things. I felt like a road trip like this just needed to be captured properly, and the Mamiya 7II paired with the Contax T3, there's really not a much better combo in my opinion. I've been shooting both of these cameras for a number of different years, and I love the images that they produce. All of the scans that you guys are going to see in today's video are provided by Negative Lab. Brian, the owner, is a really good friend of mine, and we're working on some cool partnerships here on the channel. If you guys want to check out all their processing and developing services, you can check those out at the link in the description. If you use code Elkins, you'll receive 10% off your first order. I actually just received the scans this morning, and I was able to start picking through them, and truly these are probably some of my favorite photos that I've taken to date. Especially on a road trip, shooting film really encapsulates the feeling and the emotion that you get when you're out on the road for as long as we were, and I'm really excited to share all this with you guys. So the first part of the trip was Idaho. We were up near Sun Valley, hanging out in the mountains for several days before starting the drive down to Jackson Hole, which is about a 6-hour drive. We were in Jackson for just about 4 days, and if you guys have never been to Grand Teton National Park, personally one of my favorite national parks out there, and it's busy for a reason. You know, it's really that beautiful, and the whole Jackson Hole Valley is just really incredible. Living in California now, it's really cool to be around such massive mountains and to be able to swim in all the different alpine lakes and just take in all the different sights and scenes and the beauty that Jackson and Wyoming have to offer. Out of all the photos on the entire trip that I was able to take, a few of my favorites definitely are swimming at these alpine lakes in Grand Teton National Park. We swam at them 2 different nights in a row around sunset, and the sun hitting the water with all of the different sparkles and reflections really kind of encapsulates how it felt to be in that moment, and these are some of my favorite photos from the trip. Now, after Jackson, we started the long drive down to Moab. If you guys have never been to Moab, it's a very beautiful and unique place located in southern Utah. When I lived in Salt Lake, I was able to go to Moab pretty frequently, but obviously since moving to California, I haven't really been there that much. I think I've only been there once, maybe in the last 8 years. So I was really excited to get there and to kind of explore around and take some photos. There's several different national parks in the area, but by far my favorite is Canyonlands. So if you guys are ever in the Moab area, I would highly recommend going to check it out. If you have a 4x4 vehicle, it's even better because there's a lot of roads that you can get on and access really unique vistas and viewpoints that you might not be able to get to otherwise. We decided to stay in Moab for several days just because of how beautiful it was. The sunset every night was definitely the highlight of this portion of the trip. Shooting around the different canyons and watching the light change into the beautiful sunset colors. It was amazing, and also a really stark difference from our time in Jackson Hole. The final stop of the trip before we headed home was just about a week in southwestern Colorado. And this is an area that we really wanted to spend some time, and the majority of our trip, we knew that it was just going to be full of different hikes and cool camping spots and a lot of off-roading and just camping in nature. This is what we were most looking forward to, I would say, out of all the different spots, and Colorado definitely delivered. We started out with a bit of 4x4ing on some beautiful mountain roads. Colorado is a lot easier to access a lot of these 4x4 trails than something like California is, so we really wanted to take in all that beauty and see where we could potentially camp up in the mountains. We had a few really gorgeous campsites that we were able to spend a few days at each, and we capped off the trip with a beautiful hike to this incredible alpine lake. I think out of all the lakes we visited and swam at on this trip, this one was by far my favorite. We did a pretty steep hike up to 13,000 feet to get to this spot, and there were several different lakes that we were able to enjoy. Jumping in that beautiful, clear, cold water and taking some photos on the Mamiya 7II, I think it really showed the scale of these mountains, and also just the trail in general was just such a beautiful trail. I don't think I've ever done a more pretty hike in my life, and being able to bring both of these cameras along, I feel like really allowed me to document it in the way that I wanted. This part of America is really special for a reason. You know, I grew up being on the West Coast for the most part, and I've done a lot of travel between Washington, Oregon, and California. But if you go just a few states over, the amount of beauty that you can get and also the sheer kind of remoteness of a lot of these areas was really special to me. I think a lot of the time in California, you think you found something that nobody else has heard of, and then you get there and there's, 500 other people. A lot of that doesn't really exist in these other states. Wyoming, parts of Utah, definitely Idaho, even parts of Colorado as well. There's a lot of places that you can go where you can just kind of be by yourself, which I think is definitely what we were looking for the most part on this trip. We wanted to have some time and some space to just relax and enjoy what the nature had to offer. Now, as I mentioned, I shot just about 35 rolls on this road trip, mainly medium format. I did shoot a few rolls on my Contax T3 as well. But the Mamiya, especially for scenes like this, for road trips, for travel, landscapes, just any sort of scene that you're looking to document, I think the Mamiya 7II does a phenomenal job at photographing the actual scene. It's very lifelike. I think when you get the scans back, it feels like you were there. And I have always said that this is probably my favorite camera of all time, and I will continue to use it until I can't anymore. I think it's a really special camera that allows me to see and photograph the stuff that I'm looking to shoot, especially when I'm traveling. Now, as you guys have seen throughout this video, I was able to share some of my favorites that I took on this road trip. I'm going to do another video here though as well and share some of the photos that I took on the first leg of my road trip in the Northern California and Southern Oregon coastlines, which was also extremely beautiful. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. For me, it was a really special video to make. I was able to really take a lot of time off and just enjoy nature, be on the road with people I care about, and I suggest you guys find the time to do the same if you can. Summer to me is just the best time to get out and see nature, go on hikes, camp, and just, soak it all in. Before this video wraps up, I did want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. Now, you guys know by now, Squarespace is a very long-time supporter of this YouTube channel and my creative endeavors. I truly cannot thank them enough for their continued support and allowing me to make the videos that I am excited to make here on the channel. Simply put, Squarespace is just the easiest way to make any sort of creative website, whether looking to display your work, create gallery pages, sell e-commerce products, or even book appointments. They make it extremely easy to organize all of this and put everything together in a cohesive and beautiful way. If you guys want to check out Squarespace for yourself, there'll be a link down in the description to receive 10% off your first website purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.